Hi everybody, Jessie here from jessiebanks.com and welcome back to another video. So I have an Inspire Me Monday post here for Power Puppy and we are using the Orchid Cascade. I am going to watercolor these using my Hydrus watercolors, which are something I've used a whole ton. So I'm really trying to get through all of the art supplies I've bought in the last couple of years and using them, and I mean, not just staring at them and going, oh, they're pretty, but let's put them on paper and use them. So that's why I broke them out for this card. I really, really love how bright and vivid these colors are in the end. I think they're absolutely amazing, and I'm so pumped to play with these some more. But I'm starting off just by filling in the background here using their cobalt blue. So I'm just dropping it kind of into the nooks and cranny parts and then blending it out with a damp brush. This video is super sped up. It is at 4 times the original speed. So this one took me about 45 minutes. I had a footage at the end. That's not counting dry time because I don't film that. But yeah, so I've cut it down quite a bit. But you guys can see what I'm doing fairly well here. I am using my silver black velvet brushes. I like the point that they come to. They are a little floppy. I need to pick up a couple sizes and some other ones to really decide what it is I like. I think I just keep reaching for these ones currently because of the tip on them, but I do prefer my sable brushes over them. I just need to get a couple more sizes so I have enough of a variation for everything I want them for. So we're going to finish up our background here. Of course, the link to the Orchid Cascade stamp will be in the description box down below. So if you guys want to pick that digital stamp up, you can. I get a lot of questions when I post videos like this about how I print on watercolor paper. This is Arch's 140-pound hot press watercolor paper. I did print on it. I use an HP CP 1025 NW color laser jet printer. And I have stuck 300-pound watercolor paper through it. So I've shoved all sorts of stuff through my printer and it seems to still work. I'm not guaranteeing it will work for everybody. It's definitely not rated to take this heavy of paper, but it works for me. So I'm just going to keep shoving it through there until it won't do it anymore. I've had this printer for like 6 or 7 years now, and I think I paid $100 for it at Staples. It's not a super expensive printer, but it does everything I need and prints great, and I've never had an issue with it. So we're just going to keep using it until it explodes. That's kind of the plan. So we're finishing up this background and blending everything out. I really love this blue. I think it's super gorgeous. You can see that filthy rag off to the side. It's actually recently been washed. I have 3 of them that I use. They're just like wet bar rags, like what you would see bartenders use at the bar to wipe it down and all that kind of stuff. I use it for my watercolors, and then when it gets too dirty, I just throw them through the wash with a bunch of old garbage towels and things. Did you see my blop there? Yeah, I cleaned that up. Anyway, with a bunch of old garbage towels, and then I pull them back out and use them again. So they end up heavily stained just because of all the staining pigments in a bunch of my paints. But they work, and I'm not throwing things in the garbage all the time or like recycling paper towel with pigments on it. And I prefer to use reusable rags as opposed to paper towels. That's kind of where it sits there. So that's what I do for my watercolor paints. Now I'm working on our little branches here, and I think it's the burnt umber, and then that's a little bit of gamboge mixed together to get our color for that. I can't remember what the other brown was. I showed it to you guys at the start. I can go look downstairs and see what it is if anybody needs to know. But I just have those 3 colors on the palette right now, and I'm using those to paint that, and then I'm going to add a little carbon black yet when I do the stick that holds the orchid standing up. The palette I'm using is actually just a ceramic plate I picked up at Dollarama here in Canada. I think I paid $3 for it. I have like 4 or 5 of them. They're, I don't know, just over a foot long and like 6 inches wide or whatever, give or take a little bit. And they're super cheap and affordable, and I love them for watercoloring because the paints pool really, really nice on them. They don't stain. They're easy to clean. They're super cheap when I drop and shatter them because Jessie's clumsy, and yeah, so that's kind of why I stick to those. I don't know what else to talk to you guys about. Oh my goodness, I've been doing so much filming in the last little bit here because I am going to a retreat. Actually, I fly out on my birthday, which is the 1st November, so I'm pretty excited to go to that. It's the first time I've been to any sort of retreat, especially traveling as far as I'm going. I live in Saskatchewan, so I'm kind of like in the middle of the country, and I'm heading out to London, Ontario for this one, so it's going to be super fun. Not looking forward to the mass day of travel, but that's okay. Now I am working on those leaves at the bottom. I have sap green, and I find that this sap green is really grainy. I'm not sure if it's just because it's as old as it is. I got these, like this sap green came in that watercolor lot I bought ages ago from the lady that had them probably forever, but it's a really grainy liquid watercolor, and I'm not so sure why. I might have to pick up a fresh bottle of it just to kind of compare, but I did end up using it, so I mixed it there with a little bit of that Venetian green and a little phthalo blue, and now I'm going to use some of that gamboge just to brighten it up and give it more of a yellow green color as opposed to being quite so blue and cool. I wanted it nice and bright. Then I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to the center of the flowers, and we're going to start with a quinacridone magenta, painting some of the florals with that, and then I'm going to pull out the cobalt, I don't know, ultramarine something, it's a purple, that we're going to use for the other flowers. So I'm just doing the darkest towards the center and slowly blending that out with my brushes. I'm going to add in some little dots and things and let that all kind of blend together to give the flowers a lot of really, really pretty texture on them. So we're just going to slowly work around those. I'm trying not to do too many petals side by side in order to kind of keep them down from bleeding into each other. I break that rule here and there depending on how much water I've put down on the petals. You kind of get a feel for that the more you paint, as for when and how much you can do side by side without having to worry about things bleeding into each other. So it's kind of like a play it by ear type deal, but you can see how I'm dropping it in right around the center and then slowly blending it out into the rest of the petal. I love this stamp. I think it's absolutely... I love orchids. I have one in my dining room window now that I think is ready to bloom for about the 8th time. And I don't know. I can't keep plants alive to save my life. Like, I have a black thumb, let's put it that way. And I currently have a cactus, a succulent, and that orchid, and an aloe vera plant. I haven't killed any of them. So I've decided that the only things I can grow are things that are alright when I forget to water them for a month. That's kind of the way it works. If they need water, like, every 4 or 5 days, they're gonna die because I'm going to forget for at least a week. At least a week. That's being good to myself, because I'm not very good at the whole growing plants thing, but we're working on it. We're working on it here. I'd like to pick up another cactus and see if I can grow. This is one of those skinny ones that grow real tall. I'd like to get like a round bulbous one and see if I can not manage to kill that one either. So now we're jumping into the purple, and we're doing the same thing as we did with the pink, and I'm just dropping it in around those centers and slowly blending it out towards the outside of the petal, and then adding a little bit more of the color into it here just to make sure that everything looks blended and nice and smooth. Simply because I am going to that dark color right onto that dry paper. Sometimes it sucks itself in really, really fast and I end up with a harsh line. And when I go back in after with that real pigmented color on the brush, it allows me to hide where those lines and markings are on the paper from me not wetting the petals before I put the color on. But that's alright. And we're just going to work our way through all of them doing that. So carrying on, just more and more flowers, you guys. We've done this a lot. You've heard me repeat myself about 500 times, and we're going to continue doing it. I know some people will pop me emails and things saying I keep repeating the same things. But part of why I keep repeating those same techniques over and over again is, one, it's good for people to get them as a refresher course. If you're not painting as often as other people, or it's a different technique, it's really good to kind of hear what that person's doing over and over. The next reason is there's always new people watching on the channel, and I'm so appreciative for everybody new who hits the subscribe button and watches my videos and gives me a thumbs up and does all of those things that help out my channel. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate you, and that's why I take the time to repeat things over and over again, so that when you are new to the channel, you're still getting a lot of the tips and techniques and reasons why I'm doing things, as the people that have been watching for a few years now, through my lulls and everything in filming, and from changing from being like a scrapbooker and all that kind of stuff to definitely a card maker. I've kind of found my niche, and this is where I plan to stick around and hang out on. So once we get through all of these purples, oh, I have one little petal up there to do yet as well. I do add a little bit of the pink into the purple just to brighten up that color. I thought it was a little bit, it almost looked a little bit dull with having the bright pink flowers in beside it. So adding that little bit of pink to the purple just kind of brightened it up and livened it up that little bit. So I am going to add a little bit of that to the flowers, and then I think I add a little bit of shading to that one pink orchid down at the front that is facing forward, just to give him a little more, or give that flower a little bit more depth. I always say him, but it could be a girl or a boy. It doesn't, that flower. Let's go that way. Added a little bit of blue to it here, and doing a little shading, like I said, on that one little pink flower. Blending that out, and that'll be basically it for this video, guys. We're going to cut down the panel. Oh, wait, no, I gotta do the little twist tie piece that holds the branch onto the stick so that the orchid doesn't fall over. And if you saw my hands go to visualize that, even though you guys can't see me talking to you, I talk with my hands all the time, regardless if it's a voiceover in person. But anyway, we're going to cut this one down to put it on some foam tape and pop it up onto an A2 size top folding card base. And that's going to be it for this video, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really do love making watercolor videos for you guys. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel, I'd love for you to subscribe. Giving this video a thumbs up helps me more than you'll ever know. And here is a link to another video that YouTube suggests. And I will see you guys very soon. Bye for now.